We've been off-roading. A few of the local guys invited us to take the Bald Mountain Trail with them. Now, I am a noob off-roader. I've never done off-roading to this degree, rock crawling, and to add on to that, they wanted to go at night. So, needless to say, I made sure to wear my brown pants. Now, granted, Bald is a fairly easy trail, and in hindsight it was, but being my first time going and first time meeting these people, I was pretty scared. We ended up having a blast. Dennis, if you're watching this, thank you for the invite. I can't wait to go on more trails, hopefully in the day, and I can film some stuff and share it with you guys too. So the one thing I really wish I had on the truck for that run were lights. All I had were my headlights. Like I said, it was nighttime in the middle of the forest, going up rocks. I wish I had lights, so I thought that'll be a good next project. Some of you guys that are watching who already have LED bars or LED pods know how expensive they can be. I'm thinking of brands like Baja Designs, Rigid, KC Highlights. They're quality parts, they're quality lights, you know they're gonna last you, and I have no doubt in that. But for now I decided to go with these. These are Auxbeam LED Pods. I went with them for a couple reasons. They're super cheap. So I bought 8 pods to surround my truck for about $10 to $12 each. I spent about $80, $90 on all 8 pods. Now that's super cheap. When I tested them to see how much light they actually output, I was actually quite impressed. So actually, I don't have anything for comparison for these lights, but Trail Recon, his channel, he did a comparison video on the Rigid. Sorry, my dog is thirsty. So anyways, Trail Recon, his channel, he has a review video of the Auxbeams versus the Rigids. As you can guess, the Rigids produce a little bit more light than the Auxbeams. But go check out his channel, go check out that video. He actually does a lot more reviews on other Auxbeam products, including the LED bars. So if you have any questions on those, or you just want to see the output, I'll show a little bit, but you can definitely go check out Trail Recon. He does some pretty good in-depth reviews of the Auxbeam lights. Stop eating that. What are you eating? Drop it. Drop. Drop. Eating electric tape. And now my battery is running out. It's time to switch. So I went with MIG tuning. Let me turn this a little bit. There we go. That's better. I bought MIG tuning harnesses just to make things simple. It comes with a relay, a switch, about 10 feet of cable, and it's all wrapped in plastic shrink wrap that's pretty well weatherproofed. With good, thick 12-gauge wire. It made things simple because all of that came in one package instead of me having to buy the relay, the switches, which I ended up replacing the switches anyways. All the wiring and doing all that all myself just made things a little bit more simple, and for $20 it was worth it for me. The other thing I got were the brackets. The low pro ditch light brackets from Cali Raised, as well as the relay holder and the switch panel plate that goes, you know, next to your knee in the in the dashboard. Yeah, just to add nicer switches in there. Those were all on Amazon as well. It's awesome that Cali Raised is on Amazon because I could just add it to my whole order. Done. So that was pretty cool. One other thing I will recommend that you get, or a couple other things, are these solder connectors. So I don't know if you've seen these before, but if you take a look, it's basically a plastic shrink wrap, and on each end there is, oh, you can kind of see here, on each end there's a weather stripped piece of shrink wrap, and in the center there is a piece of solder, and basically you'll push the wire through the center here. Let me see if I can now look at the camera here so you can see that it's see-through. Anyways, you'll put the two pieces of wire through essentially, and you'll use a heat gun or some form of heat to shrink the shrink wrap, and it will melt the solder in the center and get you a nice weatherproof connection on both sides without having to bust out your solder gun. So if you haven't seen these, you just got to really make sure that you get the solder melted on the inside, because it will look like it does, but it won't, and you'll know when the solder melts. Anyways, these are very helpful for all the connections. The pack I bought off Amazon is just a multi-pack, so it has all the different sizes of wires that you possibly need, all the way from like 16-20 gauge up to 14-12 gauge, these big guys here. And I didn't need the whole pack. It came with like a bunch, and I think it was like 12 bucks. So besides that, I would also recommend getting some of this. Now this is called dielectric grease. Dielectric grease is just a silicone grease that you put on the connectors, the electrical connectors, and it prevents rust and corrosion. It keeps moisture out. Highly recommended for your connectors. I know at some point or another we've all been there where we're trying to get the damn side marker bulb out of its connection, and you're using pliers and you're pushing and pulling and it's not coming out. Use that stuff. You'll thank me later. Again, thinking simplicity, I ended up buying the Blue Sea 6-port fuse box with the negative terminal. That I mounted on top of my fuse panel, and I connected a positive wire from the battery and a negative to the body. One positive to the battery, one negative to the body, instead of like 15 wires running to the positive. I know you've all seen pictures of those positive terminals with like 15 things connected to it and it's just stacked on top of each other. It looks ugly. Don't do that. Just get a fuse box. It makes everything really simple. You just connect it on up and you're done. As for the switches, I went to the CH4x4 website and found the graphics and the colors that I wanted for each of the switches. Granted, they are a little bit more expensive if you buy them directly from the website than getting the aftermarket Chinese ones on Amazon, but I wanted to make sure I got the right graphics and the lights, and it came with the harness for the actual switch that I could splice into the MIG tuning harnesses. And speaking of that, when you get the switches, on the back of the switch harness, there are 4 wires: green, red 1, red 2, and black. The MIG tuning harness, you'll notice there's only 3 wires: blue, white, and black. Now I'm going to show you guys some diagrams that I just quickly wrote down while I was testing it. I tried to Google this to see what the positive, negative, what it was going to be to get it all hooked up, and what the red 1 and red 2 wire on the harness went. So the 4 wires are because of this. There is an LED in the switch that has a low and a high. So when you click the switch, it turns on. When you unclick the switch, it should turn off, depending on how you have it wired. The way I have it wired, what I wanted, my goal was to, in the daytime, the switches had no illumination unless I clicked them to the on position. Then they were fully illuminated on high. At night, I wanted the switches, to be half illuminated on low so that I could see what I was going to be clicking on and off. When I click them on at night, they go to high mode and they're just brighter. Additionally, you need to get an add-a-fuse. The add-a-fuse will go on the 5 amp panel fuse. It's the first fuse on, I think, the left side of the block underneath the dash. When you pull the cover off, it has a diagram of where it's at. The fuse is called panel. Now, what I ended up doing, it was a 5 amp. What I ended up doing was add the ADA circuit, and on the source port, which is the panel, I added a 10 amp fuse there instead. And then on the auxiliary port on the ADA fuse, which it would be the switches, the LED backlight for the switches, I added a 20 amp there for good measure. there is so little draw that comes out of those LEDs that I doubt I will ever have any issues with that. And I haven't had any issues. I've been running it for weeks now and it's been fine. What I ended up doing was I grabbed all of the red 2's wires, spliced them together, and then used those solder connectors and tapped that to the add a fuse and put them all together onto one, soldered them together, connected it up, and it goes to the panel. The panel turns on at night because your lights turn on. The instrument cluster panel is what it's talking about. And as soon as that turns on, the low setting on the LEDs on the faceplates of the switch illuminate. So at night you can see what switches you gotta press. You're not just in the dark. Hey guys, I just finished up wiring the switch panel and all the switches I got from CH4x4. The only issue I'm finding is that apparently on my right side switch, the LED number 1 or number 2, that's the one that illuminates the letters, isn't working. So let me turn the flashlight off here. It's gonna get dark. So you can see if I click on side light on the right hand side, the words and the icons illuminate. However, on this switch, it looks like side lights is illuminated, but it's not. The LED switch is actually, the second LED down here is actually not illuminated. Now you can tell this because I wired it so that if the panel is on, the instrument panel at night, that LEDs would illuminate, the low setting would illuminate. And you can see here the low setting is illuminated, so the words are very bright. However, the right hand side switch that I have here is not illuminated. But if I click it to turn it on, it illuminates, but it's just illuminating the top portion of the LED, not the actual words, but it's bleeding through into the words. So I might have to contact CH4x4 and see if they can give me a replacement switch. I checked the wiring and I've actually taken off all of the wiring, stripped it back out and re-crimped it, re-soldered it, and it's still giving me the same persistent issue. But I'm just gonna push this all back up in here. And I know I need to clean that up back there, but for now this will work. As you can see, it looks pretty cool. Uh-oh. My dog thinks he's a cat. Yeah, no, it looks pretty cool. The switches are awesome, I think. If I can just get the switch replaced so that the LED works, I think I'll be all set. You can see here, it is pretty neat. I got all the different controls here. The left and right side lights are on, as well as the I think she sees a cat over there, as well as the chase lights. So you can see all the chase lights are on. And on the right hand side here, we have lights illuminating the right hand side and the passenger side of the truck. So the lights work, they work great. I also have the ditch lights, but they point towards the neighbor's house, so I don't really want to turn those on. Anyways, that's how it's supposed to work. I'll put my wiring guide up so that you can see how I wired these so that they do halfway illuminate when the lights are on. You can see my headlights turned on and it's nighttime, so these light up because when the door is closed and you're in the car and there's no dome light on, it is nearly impossible to see what these lights actually are, what they read. So having that secondary LED on makes it very convenient so that you can read what each LED actually is before you turn it on. But like I said, this LED number 2 isn't working, so I'm gonna give CH4x4 a call and see if they'll give me a replacement switch. And hopefully it's just simple swapping it out and bam, it starts working. If not, I'll have to figure out what's going on the wiring side. But as far as I know, all the wiring is good to go. And that's pretty much it for the install. The Auxbeam lights, they work, I think they work great. I was very impressed for them being 10 bucks a pop. $10 light pod. and I get all this light. I just wanted something that if I came into camp at night and I wanted to set up, I can turn these lights on. Same thing for the fronts. I just wanted the ditch lights so that I can see a little bit further, I can see to the sides. And the chase lights I also wanted because, well, we were following a bunch of people on a trail at night and it got kind of dusty, and I know I couldn't see the person in front of me, so I could definitely say the person that was behind me probably couldn't see me either. And that's just a safety thing that I wanted to take care of. Hey, good morning guys. It's been about a week since I've worked on the project for the switches. If you guys remember, the switches went out. CH4x4 just sent me the new switch, so I'm gonna switch it out here really quick. Should only take a second. If you guys want to join in here, 1 sec. So things are pretty easy to open. You just kind of slide off the back here. Wiring diagram. But since I have everything wired up already, I'm just gonna pop the switch panel out and plug in the new harness. We'll see if it lights up. It's the old one. It's in the off position. Plug this in. Make sure the harness is seated. Sorry. Make sure the harness is seated in there. Alright, so we got lights here. Awesome. Now I'm going to turn on the lights, which should activate the cluster. Which means all of these should be lit up. Hey, look at that. Words are all lit up on all of them. If you press it, everything lights up. Sweet, that worked. Alright, so thank you to CH4x4 for promptly sending me a new unit. Like I said, it only took a couple days, maybe 4 days for them to send me a new one, which is just their standard shipping. So highly recommend CH4x4 to make sure you get the right color, the right graphic, making sure the LEDs work. CH4x4, that worked out great. So thank you. And that's pretty much it. Once you're done all wiring it up, you'll just shove the wires back into the dash, put the panel back in, put the switches in, shove it all back in there, and try it out. All done. I'll make sure to link all the things I used in my video down below, as well as a link to the video that Trail Recon has where he compares the Auxbeam and the rigid lights. Hopefully we can get some more local off-roading in and have that content uploaded for you guys. I'd like to get Bald Mountain filmed during the day. We also got invited to Shut-Eye Peak, but that kind of fell through. So hopefully in the next few weeks before we get a new video out, I'll have those uploaded for you guys. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing. If you have any questions at all, please put them in the comments down below. Also, follow us on Instagram @BackyardOverlanders. We do a few more updates on there than we do make videos, so it's pretty cool, and we also take a lot of fun photos.